There are 5 settings in your Chevy that GM turned on at the factory that are quietly wearing out your truck or driving you crazy every single day. And the first one, you cannot even permanently shut off because a federal regulation forces it back on every time you start the engine. I read hundreds of comments on this channel, and these same 5 came up over and over. My auto stop won't stay off. My tire pressure is always wrong. My headlights won't shut off. So today, the 5 settings to turn off, exactly how to do it, and the one GM does not want you touching. Let's go. Setting 1, Auto Stop Start, the one that won't stay off. We start with the single most complained about feature on any modern Chevy, and the one comment I have seen more than any other. I wish my Silverado would just remember to keep auto stop off. You press the little A button. The engine stops shutting off at lights. Then you restart the truck the next morning, and it is right back on. Here is why, and it is not a glitch. Auto Stop Start shuts your engine off at every red light to save fuel. GM did not add this for you. They added it to meet EPA and CAFE fuel economy targets. The system exists to move a number on a government test. And because it exists for regulatory credit, GM is required to have it default to on at every ignition cycle. That is why the button is a temporary switch, not a permanent setting. It legally has to reset. Now, why do you actually want it off? Starting an engine is the single hardest moment in its life. Oil pressure is at its lowest, and metal parts are barely lubricated. Auto Stop Start takes something that used to happen a few times a day and makes it happen dozens of times per drive. That stress lands on your starter, your expensive AGM battery, and your engine bearings. So how do you kill it for good? On most 2018 and newer Chevys, press the A with the arrow button every drive, free, but you have to remember. For a permanent fix, a plug-in module like a Range or a 4D Tech goes into your OBD2 port and sends the disable signal automatically every start, so you never touch the button again. It does not reprogram anything, and it unplugs in seconds, which keeps it warranty safe. One honest warning. On the earliest systems, the 2014 to 15 Malibu, the 2015 to 16 Impala, there is no factory button at all, and a module or a tune is the only option. Check for the A button first before you buy anything. Let me give you the honest cost benefit, because I do not want to just sell you a module. The fuel savings from Auto Stop Start are real but small. EPA testing shows 3 to 5% under ideal lab conditions, but in the real world, with varied stop lengths and temperatures, most owners see closer to 1 to 3%. On a highway commute, you may save almost nothing because the system barely engages at speed. So you are weighing maybe a tank of fuel a year against the wear of tens of thousands of extra engine starts. There is data on this worth knowing. Independent testing has actually found that batteries in trucks with stop-start disabled lasted longer on average than those cycling constantly, because the system hammers the battery with charge-discharge cycles every time the engine restarts. One more myth to kill. Some people think disabling it will throw a check engine light or trip a code. A plug-in module that simply remembers your last setting does not set codes, does not touch your emissions equipment, and reverts the second you unplug it. A full ECU tune is different. That rewrites firmware, GM can detect it, and it will affect your powertrain warranty, so a tune is the aggressive option, not the starting point. For 99% of you, the button or a reversible module is the answer. Setting 2. Tire pressure monitoring. Why it's always wrong. This is the second most common frustration in my comments, and it usually sounds like this. I hate my Tahoe's tire pressure system because it is never correct. Before you disconnect anything or pay a shop, understand what is actually happening, because the system is almost never broken. It is confused, and you can fix it yourself in the driveway. Here is the part nobody explains. If you air up your tires with the engine off, the system often does not register the change, and here is the key detail. It only recalibrates when it detects a pressure change while driving. So if you set them cold in the driveway and the numbers were slightly off, the truck keeps showing the old wrong values. And every new reading builds on that bad baseline. 2 fixes. First, the fast one. Your infotainment tire pressure screen can be used as a live gauge. Air your tires up with the engine running and watch the number move in real time. That alone solves most complaints. Second, the real one. The relearn. On most trucks with the display, press and hold on the tire pressure screen until it offers a relearn or a reset. Do it with the engine running and be ready to sit with it for a few minutes while it rereads all 4 sensors. If you ever rotate your tires, this is also what fixes the truck pointing you at the wrong corner. And if a tire shows only dashes instead of a number, that is different. That is a dead sensor battery inside the wheel, and it needs replacing, not resetting. Here is why this matters more than people think, because a lot of owners just want to rip the whole system out in frustration. Correct tire pressure is not a nag, it is fuel economy, it is even tire wear, and it is braking distance. A tire that is 6 to 10 psi low, which is common when people ignore a system they have decided is wrong, drops your mileage, wears the outer edges of the tread prematurely, and lengthens how far your truck takes to stop in an emergency. That is a real safety cost of a system people disable because nobody explained it to them. And the tire pressure sensors themselves have a lifespan. The little batteries sealed inside each sensor typically last 5 to 10 years, and they are not replaceable on their own. So when one dies, the whole sensor gets swapped, usually when you are already having tires mounted to keep the labor cheap. If your truck is getting up in years and one wheel starts throwing dashes, that is completely normal aging, not a system failure. The takeaway on this one, do not fight the system and do not rip it out. Relearn it with the engine running, use the screen as your gauge, and it becomes genuinely accurate instead of a light you have trained yourself to ignore, which is dangerous, because the one time it is right, you will not believe it. Setting 3. Automatic headlights, the one that kills your battery at the drive-in. This one generated a surprising amount of frustration, and it is niche until it happens to you. Your headlights will not shut off while the engine is running. Someone wants to sit in their truck with it running, at a drive-in movie, waiting in a parking lot, running the AC on a hot day, and the headlights blaze the whole time, draining the battery and blinding everyone in front of them. Here is the logic. Your Chevy uses automatic headlights and daytime running lights that are designed to be on whenever the engine is running, for safety. On most models, you cannot simply switch them off with the light knob the way you could on an older truck. But there are two real workarounds, and almost nobody knows the first one. On many Chevys, if you apply the parking brake before or right after starting, the daytime running lights and automatic headlights will shut off while you sit. That is the drive-in trick. Parking brake on, lights out. The second method is in your settings. Dig into the vehicle or lighting menu in the DIC or infotainment and look for auto or an exterior lighting option. On many trucks, you can change the auto headlights and set the shutoff behavior. One caution I want to be responsible about: your headlights being on is a safety feature. Turn them off to sit still, but never drive at dusk or in rain with them off, because your taillights may be off even when your daytime lights are on, and that is exactly how you get rear-ended. This is worth 30 seconds because it is genuinely misunderstood. Daytime running lights light up the front of your truck only. They do not turn on your taillights. So a driver rolling along at dusk with the headlight knob in the wrong position can have a fully lit dash and lit front end, and be completely dark from behind, with no idea. Every year, people get hit from the rear in exactly this situation. So the rule is simple. Use the parking brake trick or the settings menu to kill the lights when you are parked and sitting. But when you are actually driving in low light or weather, make sure the headlight control is in the full-on or auto position, so your taillights are lit. And here is a related setting worth checking while you are in that menu. Many Chevys tie the headlights to the wipers, so the moment you turn your wipers on, the headlights come on automatically. That is not a fault, that is the truck being smart about rain visibility, and I would leave that one on. The lighting menu is one of the most configurable and least explored areas in the whole truck, and 5 minutes in there fixes complaints people have driven with for years. Quick pause, hit like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments which of these your truck is doing right now. 3 down, 2 more coming, including the setting that GM's own dealers have gotten owners to pay for a fix they never needed, and the last one, which is quietly changing how your transmission shifts based on how other people drive your truck. Let's keep going. Setting 4, the remote window feature. It's not broken, it's turned off. This is the one where owners tell me the fob window trick is fake because it does not work on their truck. And I want to clear it up, because the feature is real, it is just switched off from the factory on a lot of trucks. The trick? Hold the unlock button on your key fob for several seconds and all 4 windows roll down, which is incredible on a 100-degree day to vent the heat before you get in. Here is why it fails for so many people. On a large number of Chevys, remote window operation is disabled by default and has to be turned on in the settings menu. Go into settings, then vehicle, then comfort and convenience, and look for remote window or a comfort open option and switch it on. Now the fob trick works. There is a second reason it may not work: the individual window switches. On some trucks, only the driver's window has the auto one-touch function, unless the switch has a specific marking, so if only one window drops, that is your answer. Now, the honest counterpoint, because a lot of you asked, the windows will not roll back UP from the fob on most models. That is a deliberate safety design to prevent a child or a hand from being pinched. And if you have window shades or anything on the glass, be careful, because this feature has soaked more than one interior when a key got pressed in a pocket during a rainstorm. If that is a risk for you, the same menu that turns it on will turn it off. And there is a genuinely useful companion feature hiding right next to this one that almost nobody uses. On many newer Chevys, the same comfort menu also has a comfort close or remote up option on higher trims, and on trucks that support it, you can vent the windows and the sunroof from the fob, which on a summer day drops the cabin temperature dramatically before you ever open the door. It is the difference between climbing into a 140-degree cabin and one that has already dumped its heat. The reason GM buries this, instead of shipping it on by default, comes back to liability. A window that can move without someone at the controls is a pinch risk, so they ship it off and let you accept that trade-off yourself in the menu. Once you know it is a settings toggle and not a broken feature, the whole thing makes sense, and the fob trick stops feeling like something that only works in other people's trucks. Setting 5. Transmission Adaptive Learning, the one GM charges you to fix. The last one is the most technical, and it is the one that sends people to the dealership for a repair they do not need. It sounds like this. After a battery change, or when several people drive the truck, it suddenly shifts hard, or late, or hunts between gears, and the dealer wants to talk about transmission work. Here is what is really going on. Your Chevy transmission uses adaptive learning. The computer studies how you drive, your throttle, your braking, and adjusts shift firmness and timing to match, storing those corrections over thousands of miles. Two things throw it off. First, losing battery power. A battery change, a jump, a dead battery wipes those learned values back to a factory baseline, and baseline feels wrong on a truck with miles on it. Second, multiple drivers. If your truck has learned around your smooth driving and then a heavy-footed driver takes it for a week, the transmission adapts to them, and now it feels off to you. The point is, this is not a mechanical failure, and it is not a reason to authorize a repair. The fix is a relearn, and you can do it yourself. Get the transmission fully warm, then drive deliberately. From a complete stop, accelerate gently and steadily, and let it shift up through every gear on light throttle. Come to a full stop, and repeat that 15 to 20 times. Then do a few with slightly firmer throttle. You are feeding the computer clean, consistent data. Most trucks smooth out within 50 to 150 miles of normal driving after a reset. What a relearn will not fix is a truck that shifted badly before the battery came out. That is a real problem, but shifting weird right after a battery change is almost always just the computer relearning, and it is free. Let me add the part that saves you the most money here, because this is where dealers make easy money on nervous owners. When your truck shifts firm for the first 50 or 100 miles after a battery disconnect, that is the worst possible time to authorize any transmission work, because the symptom fixes itself as the computer relearns. An owner who panics and approves a flush, or worse, a valve body, is paying hundreds to thousands of dollars to fix something that would have corrected on its own by the weekend. So the rule is patience. After any battery event, drive it normally for a week before you conclude anything is wrong. There is one more scenario worth naming. If you did a battery change and the shifts are genuinely still harsh after 200 miles of driving, then it is worth having the fluid and the transmission actually looked at, because at that point, the relearn has had its chance. The sequence matters. Relearn first, diagnose second. Doing it in that order is the difference between a free fix and a repair bill, and the dealer is not going to be the one to suggest you wait. So there are your 5. Auto stop start, which will not stay off because a federal rule forces it back. Kill it with the button or a module. The tire pressure system that is not broken just needs a relearn with the engine running. The automatic headlights you can drop with the parking brake so you can sit in peace. The remote window feature that is not fake, just switched off in your settings menu, and the transmission relearn that saves you from paying a dealer to fix something that was never broken. None of these cost you anything but a few minutes, and every one of them came straight out of your comments. So tell me, which of these 5 is your truck doing right now, and what year is it? Drop it below. I read every one, and half of what ends up in these videos comes from what you tell me. Hit like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.